That
Man, why Meet the Others podcast? What's this about?
why are we doing this thing?
Why are we doing this dang thing?
Who the F?
Do we even know what we're doing?
Certainly not.
Oh,
We
no.
just hooked this thing up tonight. We figured out how to use the mics, and now we're recording 10 seconds afterwards. Gives me comfort. So
I hear you.
yeah. So anyways, Meet the Others. That's us.
Still waiting on this car to come and take me home. Things feel a little different now that we grown. Till I turn the ass, sure they put my name in stone. Live how I wanna live, cause we die alone.
Hey,
Yo!
welcome to another exciting podcast at Meet the Others.
What? Oh my goodness.
We're coming to you with the heat today.
Was that the right one?
Yeah, but see, it doesn't do the. Why don't you just continue to?
Oh,
It cuts it off.
It does. Oh. Well, welcome to Meet the Others podcast. I'm Anissa B.
And I'm Choirboy Dank.
And today we do not have coffee.
Nope.
No.
Just drinking other liquids.
Other liquids. We're doing some water for some wisdom. And what do you got in that cup? In that mason
Hydration.
jar?
Some great value black cherry 0-calorie seltzer drink.
Some bubblies.
Yeah, but the ice is gone. The bubbles are gone.
Oh,
It goes quick, you know.
it does. It does indeed. I have a water. And then I have these Alani's, yo. I don't know. Yo, these Alani's right here. Dr. Pepper in a can. Normally, I can't drink these energy drinks. They get my heart racing and I feel like I'm going to puke. But for some reason, this one over here, I'm kind of hooked.
She's willing to risk the puke on that
I
one.
am. It tastes so good. I just want a Blimpie sandwich with it, honestly speaking. Just like, that's all.
Shout out Blimpie.
Blimpie.
What?
Applause.
Go Blimpie.
Go Blimpie.
Sponsors of Meet the Others podcast. No, I don't know. Do they still exist? Who knows?
I don't know. I know in New York, like there was 2 locations around my neighborhood, and I think both of them closed.
R.I.P. Blimpie. Man.
Yeah, R.I.P. Blimpie. And if you're still around, I want to get a sandwich from you.
You sound like Homer.
Oh. Anyways,
so what are we talking about today?
today we are gonna talk about. I don't know. I had this like idea.
Yes.
I was like doing a workout and I started thinking about when Zeke was little and one of our favorite superheroes was Iron Man, and the man behind Iron Man is Robert Downey Jr. So I just had this like idea to let's talk about Robert Downey Jr. Just there's a lot of reasons why I chose him. So
Not just because of Iron Man.
not just because of Iron Man. Well, I had a really huge crush on him as a kid. Like I thought he was such a cool character. He played a lot of cool characters. Like
He's been in a lot of stuff.
yeah, but more importantly, there was stuff about him. Like yeah, he came from a very like his father was into movies as well and all that stuff.
Right.
But there's a lot of like ups and downs in his life that when I was a kid, I used to, watch everything that happened, and he kind of had some issues with addiction and losing things. And I just thought that it would be awesome to talk about him. So
I think I don't know. I'm not like super well versed on his story, but you kind of said that we're going to talk about him. So I went back and researched some of his stuff. And I think something that was cool, especially just, being that this is our podcast and we're a team and we're married. And as a team, work together in so many ways, but we also do a lot of our businesses are a complete team sport. Like for everything that we do,
Yes.
we really like lean on each other's, skills all the time to like both of us, right?
Yeah.
And something that I thought was super cool is him and his wife are a team. They have Team Downey, funny enough, is their production company.
Oh, that's so cool.
So like she's like an executive producer, movie producer type person. And I just thought it was so cool that she was so instrumental in bringing him back into like the big leagues kind of as an actor. And it really, the backdrop is really like accountability.
Yes, because he started very young, and so you have to know that Hollywood, the pressure of Hollywood was probably absolutely crazy, especially back then.
Well, right.
And just having to like fit certain standards especially if your family before you are famous and kind of known, right? So it's cool that that's like, he started so young and had so many, trial and errors.
Right. Yeah, it's valuable. I think it's cool it's cool when we highlight these people to really understand their stories and know that it's not always a straight line.
No, it's not a straight line. Do you know some of his movies that you really kind of liked? Or
he's been in a lot, some of the stuff that I've seen. I mean, he was in Gothica with Halle Berry.
Yes.
And he's just done so much. Sometimes it's hard to really even like pin him down, right? Because you go, oh, that was him or whatever. Right. Because I think that now he's just known so well as Iron Man because that became such a big franchise.
Yes.
Right.
Yes.
But you go back and he did some I don't know. There are certain characters that he played in like some of the 90s films and different things.
Yes.
Where
he was like, in Weird Science.
He was in Weird Science, which I love.
One of the guys with the bra, right? Wasn't he? Wait, no. He was like the artsy student, right. Like.
And he's played that kind of character a couple times.
Yes.
And he's got a decent amount of range. So it's hard to pin down, real favorite. I mean, obviously the Iron Man thing kind of sits at the top of my mind when it comes to like dope performances he's done.
Yes.
But no, he's good. He's dope. The funny thing is you get to know him through those movies. But I feel like creators that you really like start to invest in, you get to know them just almost as a person, right outside, and you go, I'm a fan of them just in general.
Yes, and that's what kind of definitely made me want to do Robert Downey Jr. was because like, he was like a celebrity, like in the lights of everything, like in fame, and he was doing fucked up things that like that was embarrassing, and you can't be protected just because you're in Hollywood. Like he was arrested for breaking into someone's home. He didn't do anything violent or anything, but he still got arrested. And that was during the times where he was so intoxicated and didn't know where he was at, And I think that's like, oh, wow, that's crazy.
He was a loose cannon.
Yeah, he was like loose and he was going through it. And he had a lot of bad times where I think he even got kind of, a lot of people turned their back on him, didn't want to work with him.
No, the whole Hollywood definitely turned their back on him.
Yeah, because he was out of control and he kind of was a little unapologetic for a while.
Well, in some ways you go, I think that it's easy to kind of go, well, the big companies and corporations kind of left him out in the cold, but you go, that's not the full story. Obviously, he's got to be responsible for his own actions, right? And I think that that's something that was so dope about reading his story is like, that's when it really turned back around, was when he really goes, I've done the wrong things,
right?
And I'm going to completely change. And I'm almost introducing a new person.
Right.
This is the new character that I'm going to be playing.
Exactly.
A completely
Exactly.
different person, right?
Yes.
And became
Yes.
accountable for that, which was, I don't know. It's cool because it really goes right in line with a lot of what we're positioning for ourselves, is just embodying a completely different
Right.
person.
Yes, and that's the other reason why it also aligns to us a lot in a lot of ways, just because, you know, he chose to become sober, and sobriety has been a huge part of his, like, you know, overcoming so many things and being able to like shine so much brighter, get the role of Iron Man and like be so successful today, is because he decided to, you know, stop drinking, stop doing drugs, like just
Right.
start living a more sober lifestyle, you know? And it made sense also for us to do this because tomorrow we're 1 day shy of 1,000 days.
Really?
1,000 days sober, which that right there.
It's gone by kind of quick.
That definitely, I'd like an applause for that, because get out of here. That is something to be proud of. So it is definitely. And I think that, you know, when you look at addictions and stuff like that, it's hard not to see yourself in other addicts, right? And the stories and the war stories and the different things. I mean, that's why I think that NA and AA is such a valuable thing, is because you realize how similar we are as like kind of lost people in that space. 100%.
Because you go, oh man, damn, he like fell asleep in some guy's house and like woke up, like, dude, he had all these things to, you know, live for, or like to like live up to. And then you go, but sometimes that's when it hits you the hardest,
right?
Because you got this stuff going on in your brain and these expectations that you're trying to be good for. And sometimes that addiction really just gets a hold of you and goes, I need a break. Right. And it breaks you in a lot of ways.
A lot of ways.
And it's just cool to see that in another guy that you would have, you know, have a decent amount of respect for. And I just think that it's cool also that those people, like, there was people there to
help him out,
prop him up, his community, right?
He had support, community, and cheerleaders. Definitely the other thing about that, going back to like just being like, it can happen to anyone, addiction, right?
Right.
Yeah, like addiction can happen to anyone. And the craziest thing is sometimes we are in so much denial that we think that, you know, we don't have a problem. We don't have a problem. We could do this. I can be functional. I can have a drink during the weekend and I could keep going. I'm a big star. Like, and obviously that almost overcame his whole livelihood had he continued in that road.
It definitely would have been a huge, roadblock. But honestly, even just a destructive force in his career altogether. I mean, it basically took him out. Right. He had to have, and that's what's so valuable about his story too, is because he had others that were there in place that also kind of like, you look at Mel Gibson, that was his homie, right?
Yes, yes.
And put him in movies when no one else wanted to put him in movies.
Yes.
And crazy enough, there was a point in time where his story, he becomes uninsurable by Hollywood, which, you know, you got these big budgets and big films. They take out insurance policies to make sure that you come to work, you do the thing, and if you don't, they'll get paid, because there's millions of dollars on the line.
Right.
That's why this is such a big thing to, like, you can't be a reckless addict person that we can't contact for multiple days if the budget for the studio is $1 million day rate. You got workers and all these other actors and people going, or million, maybe even low, who knows? But Hollywood wouldn't insure him. So Mel Gibson had to put up money for his
insurance.
Like, he basically took out the policy himself, basically.
Right.
And it's just cool to see that, like people like Mel, people like his wife go, you know, we got your back, but you're going to have to step it up.
Yes. Yes.
and it's just cool. It's cool to see that he had that, and those people kind of they they like used each other, because I
Yes.
think later on in that clip that we was watching,
Which
he's
we'll share it.
yeah
Yeah.
he does the same thing for Mel Gibson. I think had some sort of a rough patch that kind of turned on him,
Yeah.
and he goes, I'm now here for you or whatever, which is just cool to see.
Have each other's back community. Yeah. Definitely. Going into like just kind of like not comparing yourself, but like where do you feel like things have grown since you've decided like that, no more drinking? Where do you feel, being that 1000 days are coming up, I just feel like it's necessary to share that with our listeners, like the others who have been there since we were cracking open beers and drinking shots over here on our table. Like now we don't do that. Where are you at? Where are you at after those 1000 days?
Well, I think it goes to that story that you're saying about the story that we tell ourselves, that this isn't a problem. This is something that's normal. And, I think that it's even more than that. It's very easy for us in our brains to say, this is helpful for me.
Right.
I need to get a little looser. And I think that there's a lot of those things that actually put guardrails on you. And it took a long time through those 1000 days to go, this is better.
Right.
Being sober is actually better.
Yes.
It took a long time to convince myself, because for so long, my brain would say, I need this social lubricant. I need this to take the edge off. I need this to get me to speak clear. I'm better on camera, like this, that, and the third.
Yes.
And I think the growth of like, even like having the skill set to be comfortable without stuff like that.
Right.
To handle my emotional states and the roller coaster that is life, no matter what, without that stuff.
Yes.
That's the big difference for me, you know, and not needing that kind of stuff, which is cool. It's super freeing. And I feel like more what the word I would say, more equipped as a person,
as
just
human, on this world,
to handle things.
Yeah.
As an adult. What about you?
Like, of course, it's all like the inner work, right? I feel like for so long, probably before I could, like, so long ago, when probably just beginning to drink, I started drinking when I was pretty young, and it wasn't like, I wasn't like this like hardcore alcoholic. No. But I obviously had a problem when, you black out, when you start acting aggressive, when you don't know where the fuck you're at, things like that start to occur, and they kind of happen throughout your life. You're like, okay, this is crazy. Right. So of course it's like that inner part definitely has changed since I got sober, but also physically, I feel a lot better. I feel like my body's not bloated all the time. I'm not as achy, swollen. I don't have that same exterior as well.
Right.
I feel like I can perform so much better, and
that's crazy, because that's such a real
like, because
thing.
I used to definitely, I was definitely the type of person who would literally party all weekend long, and then Monday comes around and I probably had a drink right before I went to bed, and then here I am at like yoga at like 6 o'clock in the morning, and I still feel intoxicated because I've just kept on taking them back. And so not drinking and being able to perform has been so different in my life.
For sure. Yeah.
And also I feel like I'm also being a really good example to my children.
That's huge.
That's huge. It's such a big deal, especially when I have a child who is over the age of 21. And, I started this sobriety literally like 2 months before his 21st birthday. And something I always looked forward to doing was actually having a drink with him. on his 21st birthday, like a legal drink. And explaining to him, at first I felt guilty, of course, and I'm like, damn, man, I just stopped drinking, and like, fuck, I should just probably have a drink. But explaining to him that my sobriety is so important, is so fucking huge, because it's for like, he's able to see my boundaries and how much I want to like grow as a human, as his mother, like, instead of being like, you know what, for the sake of it, let's go have a shot, like.
Well, I think that it also goes back to that same thing of just being, dedicated to what you believe in,
right?
No matter the societal norms or even your own guilt, or
yes,
feeling like, I'll lighten up, give it a break. And I think it's cool to say, you know what, it's not about being like, I can be lightened up and still have a good time.
Yep.
And not bend on these things that are valuable to me.
Right. So yeah, definitely, it's always the inner part, but it's the physical, and also just being able to give my kids an idea of like, you don't need a drink to get through life. You can figure it out, like without all that stuff, so
yeah, it's cool. I think I think that it's super cool to really stand on your values and not shake them for anything.
No.
and not compromise,
Right.
There's something that's so cool about that for the longest time I would probably say, oh, that's lame.
Right.
And I think that as you go through certain things in your life, and there's different stages, people live in different times of
yes,
of their development or whatever, and have different ways of interacting with things. But I just feel like there's something that's really makes me feel excited to just live in, this is how I'm gonna do it.
right.
Determination in not compromising.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna compromise.
Yes. And you will find yourself lonely during those self-developments. Like, sobriety is not always like a crowd of people cheering you on, because a lot of people can't accept your growth in them. Like, they see themselves and they see where they're kind of lacking, and so they'll like put you down, or they just will distance themselves from you. Because I've lost all my friends, but the ones that stay and can like respect your boundaries and like respect and honor your sobriety are the people that you want around. So
yeah, and it's cool because I don't think that you necessarily need, like, I don't need everybody that I hang out with to act exactly how I act.
No,
I think that would be boring, and we would have really nothing in common. I mean, there'd be nothing to talk about if we're all just
Sally the sobers
repeating the same thing to each other over and over again. So it's nice to have people that have different ways of coping or different ways of doing life. I think that that's variety that I do appreciate.
Yes.
So I don't judge anybody for their path or
Absolutely
their things.
not.
In all honesty, sometimes I really like people that have differing opinions and are just as resolved and resolute in what they believe. I think that it's cool to have conversations with people like that.
Yeah.
So
yes,
it's cool. Yeah. And I think that back to that thing that you're saying about the health kind of takeaways, I think that it's also cool to get to a place. Well, it's just a different thing when you can do the workouts and go, I'm actually at my best. I'm showing up, and I'm showing up for myself in the best way that I can, not putting a badge on your shoulder of like, well, I stayed up till 4 a.m. and I was tanked and I still got up, and like,
that used to be my shit. That was really my shit. Like, I would be like, yes, I made it even though I drank all night long.
Right. And when I was a kid and a teenager, like, I grew up in this space like a small town where it's like, yeah, you know, you got like extra credit for doing the most stupid shit. Like, oh, I drank 1,000 beers and I drove home, and I did a cartwheel, and and it's like, dude, that's not what you should be aiming for, homie.
Right.
And especially once you get to a certain age, it's like,
Yes.
you got to leave those childish ways behind a little
Yes.
bit and know that you can treat life as an athlete.
Right.
In the way of like, I'm training daily. I'm training my mind. I'm training my body. I'm training to be the best that I can be. And that's not corny.
No, not at all.
You know?
No. And that's the thing too, is that, a lot of, people will throw in balance, and like we're not judging, but when it's hard to balance your life when you're constantly moving, 10 steps forward and then 20 steps back, because you've kind of done all this work all week long, and then the weekend comes and you just fucking tank and decide like, I'm going to drink my ass off all weekend. To recover from that is like not the most easiest. Like, it's harder the older you become. That becomes a lot harder to recover from, like your body.
For sure.
And then you just,
and let's just not ignore the fact that you're actually putting poison in your body.
Right.
I mean,
right. Yeah.
You're obviously not going to be as optimal as you can be if you're poisoning your body. If you're fueling your body with crap or putting extra bullshit in the gas tank, then obviously your body's not going to be able to process it at the place that it could,
Right. So that's what that's what got us here. We're excited about Sobriety 1,000 days.
It's huge. It's
a huge accomplishment.
And I want to say one more thing about balance. I think that balance is easily can become a scapegoat.
Oh, yes.
And not even just in the alcoholic or the drug use or whatever, but I think that even with like family or like,
yes,
or like, I'm just showing up for my kids, when it's like, sometimes you got to go, but are you?
Right.
And like, how? Because I don't know. I just think that sometimes balance becomes an excuse to not do certain things that you should probably or shouldn't. Like,
right.
I think that there is a place for balance, but I think that it's easy to, you got to balance the balance.
Yeah.
You got to balance how much you're allowing yourself to take off. Like,
right.
Have the piece of cake.
Right.
Play the video games.
Yes.
Do the stuff with your family, and don't let that shit get out of alignment or overweighted. But I think that also, don't allow balance to become an excuse to be less than you can be.
Yes. Yes. 100%.
Yeah. No, I'm excited. 1,000 days, like, dude.
Yeah. Tomorrow. 1,000 days. Every Sunday I normally put up like on my Instagram, I like to like be like, 900 days, 10 days. Like, I like to announce that because it's such a huge accomplishment. When you deal with mental health, sometimes your mind still kind of makes you wonder, like, maybe I should just numb this shit out of this. And when I can overcome Sundays, I'm like, oh shit, Sunday's here, and guess who's not fucking hungover? Me. So I always look at the days, like, I'm like, what day from this day makes it almost the days,
Right.
And I just saw that today is 999, and I was like, oh shoot.
Do you have a counter, like a?
No, I just look it up. I just every day I look it up.
Really?
Every Sunday I look it up to see where we're at, and I know that we're here together with this because we both decided to start at the same time. So.
Well, that goes back to the Robert Downey story.
Yes.
Honestly, it really does. It's kind of full circle because his wife almost put down a ultimatum, and I think that that's so dope. And I think that that's really we wouldn't have, or at least I wouldn't have made it this far if it wasn't for having you as a support through it.
Same.
Because she kind of put the ultimatum: no chaos, no drugs,
yes,
none of the funny business. And it's cool because you go, sometimes back to the balance in the whole thing is like, like you go, wow, what kind of love is that? Love has these conditions or whatever.
Right.
Like, how are you really supporting if you're making them walk the plank to some degree?
Right.
But you got to turn that perspective on its head and say, but that's what love is
challenging
seeing the potential in someone that you love and going, I'm not going to let you be here when I know that you can be here or even higher than I can. Like, I'm going to push you. I'm going to be your, step. I'm going to hold your foot so that you could get higher, Yep. So it's cool.
Yeah, for sure.
It's cool to, relate to that.
That's why I really wanted to talk about Robert Downey Jr. too. And I'm just glad that we have this day to do that because of the fact that it is our 1,000 days are coming up and we freaking did it together and it was not easy. And
I feel like Iron Man.
Definitely one of my favorite movies. Also, I don't know if you know Sleep in Dreams. Do you remember In Dreams or no?
I don't know.
Oh my goodness. That was a good movie to watch. And Iron Man, Avengers, Weird Science. Check out those old school ones, man. Those things are one of my favorite. I just love him as an actor. Seriously. He's always been such an outcast and unapologetically himself. And I think that's what I like the most about him. Like, you could just tell he's like, bro, I am who I am and I fucked up, but I also can accept my mistakes and I can grow from them. And that's important as like a message for everybody watching today or listening. Whatever mistakes you make, you can definitely grow from. They're not, your life sentence.
Right.
You can pick up, you can struggle with addiction, you can struggle with so many things, but pick yourself up and like there's no ending. And
use that to be a better story. Like, because honestly, it makes it so much more relatable to know what punched you in the face, what happened when you fell, because just hearing the success story, like, that's a yawn fest, and knowing that you've had some stuff and you've hit some bumps and bruises, it just gives you the clarity to know that you're strong, and it gives you so much more of a story to come from.
Because my addictions, whether they were crazy addictions or not, they were addictions, and they're part of my story. They're part of who makes me. They're part of why I'm here today and why I'm sober. They're also a part of that part of my life, and they're huge. And so 1,000 days of not having to pick up a drink. So it's coming up, But yeah, guys. So today we decided to talk about Robert Downey Jr.
Who's next? I don't know.
Who's next? We don't know.
If you got any suggestions, throw them in the comments.
Yes, we love talking about outsiders, the others, other people who are, struggle with addiction, just, their backs, like people turning their backs on them, all that stuff. We love talking about that stuff. It's definitely inspiring. We want to inspire people.
Yeah, we want to share the stories. We want to know more, and we want to, take some notes and use it to help us.
And if you're sober, put in the comments like how long you're sober.
Yeah, let's hear about the journey.
I would love to celebrate all of y'all, like, for real, because don't think for 1 second sobriety is whack. It is such a different life, and it's I don't know. I'm very, very proud of myself, and I'm proud of anyone who else is taking the being sober, So, but yes, this is Meet the Others podcast. Till next time.
Peace.
Actually, I asked Mel to present this award to me for a reason, because when I couldn't get sober, he told me not to give up hope, and he urged me to find my faith. Didn't have to be his or anyone else's, as long as it was rooted in forgiveness. And I couldn't get hired, so he cast me in the lead of a movie that was actually developed for him, and he kept a roof over my head, and he kept food on the table. And most importantly, he said that if I accepted responsibility for my wrongdoings And if I embraced that part of my soul that was ugly, hugging the cactus, he calls it, he said that if I hugged the cactus long enough, I'd become a man of some humility, and that my life would take on a new meaning. And I did, and it worked. All he asked in return was that someday I help the next guy in some small way. It's reasonable to assume that at the time he didn't imagine the next guy would be him. Or that someday was tonight.
Why Meet the Others podcast? What's this about?
Why are we doing this thing?
Why are we doing this dang thing?
Who the F?
Do we even know what we're doing?
Certainly not.
Oh,
We
no.
just hooked this thing up tonight. We figured out how to use the mics, and now we're recording 10 seconds afterwards. Gives
Word
me
up.
comfort. So
I hear you.
yeah. So anyways, Meet the Others. That's us.
Still waiting on this car to come and take me home. Things feel a little different now that we grown. Till I turn the ass, so they put my name in stone. Live how I wanna live, 'cause